Hi and welcome. This is Angela Wills, and today I am interviewing Nicole Dean of No Regret Zone. And hello, hi Nicole.
Hi.
Like we already talked, but I'm saying hi to you, and so you could say hi to everybody who's listening. So, yeah, you and I have been connected for so long now. I've known Nicole for
Over
over,
20 years.
yeah, more than 20 years. That's a long time. So we've known each other for a very long time, which is awesome. And Nicole is awesome. So I wanted to bring her on as a guest to share with my community some wisdom she has earned over years of working online, having her own business, and just being smart and strategic, which she's always been trying to teach me. The strategic. I try to be smart already. So so I'd love for you to say hello and introduce yourself. Tell us what you're up to now, and just then we'll have a conversation about the things that you could share with the audience who's listening.
Sure. Sure, of course. As Angela said, I'm Nicole Dean, and I am the fearless leader of the No Regret Zone. And at the No Regret Zone, our motto is dream big, earn big, play big. And we dream big by thinking of what's possible and having an intentional life. We earn big by creating multiple streams of income and being intentional about our time and our businesses. And then we play big by going on adventures, retreats, and having an intentional life. Whether your adventures are there's live music in the park and you want to take your dog down there, or the adventure is spending a month in Croatia, like I like to do. I do both little adventures on a day-to-day basis. I try to have micro adventures, and then I also have big adventures to look forward to that I love as well. So that is my focus right now. And on Earn Big, when it comes to multiple streams of income, that's also being intentional, not only about your business, but about money. And as you know, I am a huge fan of all things money. I love to help women with their money mindset. I love to help them keep it. I love to help them make it. And I love to help them grow it. And so I'm not a financial advisor, but I do bring the big sister vibes, and we push away the bro money, the bro marketing. That's not helpful. If you want that, you can go to YouTube. What I do is I make money safe and I make money your friend. So that's that's what my revelation is that I want to bring to the world. And my legacy is to help women dream big, earn big, and play big, and live in the no regret zone. So that is me.
I love that. I love that. That helps me understand the no regret zone more too, because I haven't, read through everything over there yet. And yeah, the adventures is very much you. And of course, you need money for that. So the dreaming that it fits all in line, the dream, and you need to earn the money to make those adventures happen. Where would you say, like, where did you start really focusing on money? I'm just curious.
I have always had a fascination with money. Um, I have a quiz on my site that helps you find your money superpowers or your money archetype. Kendall Summerhawk originally designed that, and I'm licensed to share that as well. And I ran across that years ago, and I thought this is fascinating because I discovered that I'm an accumulator, which means that I feel safe if I have money. I'm a maverick and a ruler. So a ruler likes to build empires, and a maverick disregards the rules. So that combination is a very interesting and powerful combination. And I find that I attract a lot of accumulators, a lot of mavericks, and a lot of rulers. So having that clarity has been really interesting. But I've always been fascinated with money. I mean, I love to spend it, but I'm not a shopper. But that's where being intentional about your money comes in because my intention with spending money could be totally different than someone else's, and that's okay. But even when I was little, I've just been fascinated with money. And then an interesting story is around 2001, I had set aside a little bit of money. My husband had a good job. I was a stay-at-home mom, but we had a little bit of money set aside, and I wanted to buy Google and stock in Google. And my
Oh, I
husband
thought you meant
said,
just buy Google.
yeah, no, no, not that kind of money. I had like $1,000 set aside and I wanted to buy stock in Google. And my husband said, oh, but that's not a real business. Because I went to him because I didn't know how to do it. Because back then you couldn't just go, in
Right.
an app and buy a stock that you're interested. He said, well, that's not a real business. And so I was deflated and I didn't do it. And another year later, I said, I would really like to buy stock in Google. And my husband, who I love very much, um, is he has his own money issues and his own money mindset. And he said, oh, that's not a real business. And so we kept not doing it. And if we had
Mm.
done that, that,
Wow. Yeah.
that would be different. Our lives could be, different. So
hmm
I've, even since back then, I've always been interested in growing my money
hmm
and making my money work for me instead of being this weight that
hmm
dragged me along. So I like to keep it, I like to make it, and I like to grow it. Um, but we also live in a world where we have a relationship with money every day. So we have to be intentional about that as well, how we spend it, because we have to spend money. It's just
Yeah.
part of being on planet Earth, right?
Exactly. And I think to help women have awareness of what they can do with it. Because I'm thinking back to 2001, well, a little bit after 2001, because I remember my neighbor, he was investing, and I think he came over to our house on our
Yeah,
computer and he had to log into some investment thing. I had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea what he was doing on the computer. So
right.
we neither one of us knew the other person's thing, but I
Yep.
helped him get on the computer. But at that time, I knew absolutely nothing about investing. I would not have been able to say I want to invest in Google because it just was so foreign to me. And
Mhm.
I think there's still a lot of people that need a lot of information about money and what is possible for us, and of course the whole thing around women and money and all that. So it's
Mhm.
so important what you're doing.
And that's only a part of what, I want to bring to the table
hmm
is helping women to understand how money can work for them instead of being this battle that they've got going. Being able
hmm
to embrace it instead of fearing it is definitely a big part of what I want to do moving forward, for sure.
Love the I love the adventures part too because
Mhm.
that's well, I don't know. I feel, or do you think you're a few years ahead in terms of so Ella's 11 and
Mhm.
I've put so much time and attention into my kids, and I'm definitely craving to get even just out around locally. I just feel like there's no
Yeah.
intentional adventures going on for me
Mhm.
for my version of an adventure. Like kids adventures, yes,
Right.
all the time. But
Mhm.
as you get past that stage, then there's and also I think uh, there could be adventures when you have kids, but that just wasn't where I put
Mhm.
focus, right? But I love
Right.
that that's all part of it. The dreaming big, the what did you say? Tell me again.
No, it's
Dream.
dream big, earn big, and play big.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool. Um,
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you some questions too. So before we get into that, did you have anything else to add on what you're focused on
No,
right now?
no, it's just this whole feeling of I want to create connection with other women and I want to create this safe, supported container where they can do those things. They can dream big about their intentional life and their intentional business. They can earn multiple streams of income and to create a community and a way for them to play big as well. Or if the finances aren't there right now to play big, like if I'm planning on doing a co-working trip in May in Croatia. And, somebody might look at that and think, oh, I can't do that yet. But there are the other play is just as important. You know what I mean? Like I'll go down to the swimming pool with my husband and because we're in a 55 and up community, if you can believe that. In a 55 and up community, it's like this resort type, like living on a cruise ship. It's really weird. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but we'll go down to the pool and I bring my floaty and we play Pretty Pretty Princess and I make him drag me around the pool. And that can be my adventure for the day. And that's basically free. That's bought and paid
Yeah.
for.
Hmm.
But I'll be like, hey, do you want to play Pretty Pretty Princess? And he just rolls his eyes at me and he's like, we can go to the pool. And I'm like, do you want to shoot pool afterwards? And so, like, little micro adventures are so important because if we just sit in front of a screen all the time and sit in front of a screen all the time, I mean, that's our life. How we
Hmm.
spend our minutes is how we spend our years, and how we spend our years is how we spend our life. And I just think that playing is so important, regardless of the scale.
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
I just think that I want to make an invitation to women to, to play, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they can start doing that now and then
Yeah. You
come.
don't have to be rich to go to the beach and swim, If
Mhm.
you've got a beach near you, it can be your local beach or it can be a beach in Florida. I mean, the finances are different, but the fun can be just as great.
Yeah. I always remember this little story about a guy who was working really hard so he could go fishing, right? Like so he could make enough money
Hmm.
so he could one day take
Yeah,
time off and go fishing. And they're like, well, why don't you just go fishing right now?
yeah. Yeah,
Right?
that's a
So,
great story because this wealthy businessman comes up to this man in a boat, and he's just this poor fisherman in this boat, and he's fishing and selling his fish. And so this is the story I'm assuming you're referencing. And so, of course, the wealthy businessman, puts on his coach's hat and he's like, and starts if you did this, you could sell more fish and then you could have more boats and then you could do this and then you could do that. And then you could make all this money. And then the fisherman was like, okay, if I do that, then what? Then you could go fishing, spend your days fishing. And he's like, I already do that. I don't need to do
yeah.
all that.
Hmm.
It's like, why? If the end goal is to go fishing, just go fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never heard that story. Maybe I've just heard retellings of it, over different like things I people have been retelling different versions of it
Yeah,
because I never
for
heard it
sure.
told that way. But yeah, it's so true. Like there's so many things you can do now. That's the point, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome. My first question for you is what does lifestyle freedom mean to you personally?
Well, as you mentioned, my brand is the No Regret Zone, which is dream big, earn big, and play big. And so, like we focused on adventure because adventure is the fun part of that. But really, it's just about being intentional in our lives and our businesses. Um, and that starts with the dream big, figuring out what the heck you want. What do you want your health to be like? What do you want your life to be like? What do you want your relationships to be like? What do you want your family to be like? What do you want your business to be like? What do you
Hmm.
want your play to be like? And taking that minute to dream big and be like, okay, well, what the heck do I want now? Because that changes over time, right? I mean, like you said, we're in different stages of our lives. And
Hmm.
for me, what I want now is very different than what I wanted, a few years ago. And my priorities have changed as well. Like, as far as being intentional about my health, that has moved, way up. But taking that minute to dream big about what you want your intentional life and your intentional business to look like, and what that would look like if there were no rules and no limitations at all. because a lot of times we think, oh, I can't have that because X, Y, and Z. And we have real actual limitations. This is the real world. Sometimes we do have real actual limitations. That can be a thing. But let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, the limitations that we think and the rules that we think apply, they don't always apply. So if there were no rules and no limitations, what would you do? Like a lot of people think in order to leave, the US or leave Canada and to move to Europe, you have to have all this money. But if you look at the evidence, there are people that do it without having, $2 million dollars in the bank or without having $20,000 a month of income or, whatever it is that you think you have to have. A lot of times there are ways to do things without our beliefs getting in the way of what our limitations, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and and I know we're going to talk about things like this, but one of my favorite trainings that I've created is called Unstuck, Unmuted, Unstoppable. And in that, I do go through like what are real limitations and what are perceived limitations, and how to get through real limitations and how to get through perceived limitations, because it is so interesting what we think is a
Yeah.
limit and what really is a limit, like if you have a true health issue that you can't leave the US, like because of X, Y, and Z, then I mean, that might be a real limitation. But thinking you need to have $2 million dollars in the bank before you can retire is not necessarily a real limitation, because we see people doing it with less.
Hmm.
So I find it all fascinating, but what does lifestyle freedom mean to me? It means that I get to choose my intentional life, my intentional health as much as I can, my intentional business and my intentional play on a day-to-day and year-to-year, plan, scale.
Yeah, so living life the way you want to live it, really, right? Like
Yeah.
with all that,
Yeah.
while removing the limitations so that you can, and that's what you're helping people with.
Mhm.
And by the way, anyone listening, Nicole's been my coach since like, when was the first time you coached me? Like 2008, I think.
That's what I had in my head. I thought maybe
Yeah.
like 2008.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a long time too. And yes, so Nicole is my go-to coach, my go-to business coach for sure. And talking about unstuck, that's something you helped me with more than once. And um, yeah, sometimes the limitations were like one I'm thinking of was a real limitation, but then we worked on, working through that. Or, it
Mhm.
was also that kind of limitation without getting into like talking about it for
Can be
longer, but
both, right?
yeah, it was both. It was like something that was real, but also how I was thinking about it created more problems than needed to be there. So like
Mhm.
we worked on both ends of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I love that. I love how all that ties together into what lifestyle freedom means to you as well. So I have my next question, which is what's one mistake you made in building your business and what did you learn from it?
Well, this
Yeah.
was a these are good questions because I had to really think about this one because I wanted to say not building my list sooner and blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, the truth is, the actual truth is, I think the biggest mistake that I've made that has cost me the joy in my business is that I am really, really, this, I'm really, really good at strategy.
Hmm.
Money, marketing, mindset, multiple streams of income strategy. Like I like to get in there and make things make more money. I love multiple streams of income. I love marketing. But I started to focus so much on strategy that I lost the heart of my business. You know what I mean? I lost the connection with it because I got
Hmm.
so much in my head on all the strategy and analyzing and making things work, like specifically over at Coach Glue when I had that business. I mean, it was extremely profitable. We're making millions over there. And so it was extremely profitable. And a big part of why that was because of the strategy. But I got
Hmm.
so deep into that that I lost I lost the heart and soul and joy of what I wanted to do in the world and in how I wanted to show up and in my legacy, in my in my revelation that I wanted to bring to people and in the movement that I wanted to create.
Hmm.
And so I chose the safe, smart path and I don't regret it.
Hmm.
And
No
also,
regrets.
I miss this. I need to create, I need to connect. I need community.
Hmm.
And so, that's a part of why Melissa and I chose to close Coach Glue is because we both just felt callings to be in different spaces and
Right.
to be able to use our voices more. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, let me see if I
Thank you
missed
so much
anything
for,
you wanted to
oh,
say about that. But
thank you
yeah, I
for
wanted to share
sharing
the
that.
human. Yeah. So
Well,
I want to be more part of the human experience.
mhm,
And um, so anyway, that would be my biggest regret. And a big part, let me be totally vulnerable and honest here. A big part of why I did that is because it was safe.
mm,
It was a safe choice. I didn't have to be seen as much, so I could just be busy instead of being as impactful as I wanted to be. And I know my customers over at Coach Glue were very thankful, and I know that they got good results. And like I said, I don't regret that. And also, it's interesting to be able to go, yeah, that happened. Okay, this is not why I'm doing this. Yeah, I love money. I love making money. But like we all do, we all find ways to hide. And so that was part of why when you asked me if I would do this, I was like, absolutely. So,
what a perspective to be able to come to what you're doing next with, right? So you can really help people, guide them, help them see, some things that they might not see right away and help keep that balance. So, and that connection too. So very cool. Thank you for sharing that. If you had to start over from scratch, is kind of a little bit what you're doing with moving away from Coach Glue, but not from scratch. So
yeah,
you can take this
that's
question however you want it. But if you had to start over from scratch, what would you do first?
yeah, I do have notes because you did give me the questions in advance, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what I wrote down was I am starting over right now, but it's unfair to say that I am starting from scratch because, if somebody's listening to this and they truly are starting from scratch, I mean, I have my knowledge base, I have
Hmm.
my experience, I have my relationships, my
Yeah.
friends, my connections. Um, and my reputation. I mean,
Hmm.
that's all stuff that's worth a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not starting from scratch and I don't want to be, and I do want to be cognizant of the fact that I recognize that.
Hmm.
Um, so right now, my biggest focus is on um, getting clear on the revelation that I'm helping my people to find and the transformation that I provide and the invitation that I want to put out there for them.
Hmm.
So I think for anybody starting over or pivoting, because I know a lot of people are reevaluating what they're doing in their businesses right now, I think it comes down to those three things. What revelation are you trying to help your audience to see? What is the transformation that you provide? And what's the invitation that you would like to put out there for them to work with you or for them to learn from you?
Hmm.
And then strategy wise, if I were to actually be starting from scratch without my connections, without my reputation, without anything, then I would start creating, writing, and sharing on that topic, that whatever my revelation and my transformation were. I wouldn't have an invitation yet because I'd be starting over, so I wouldn't have any offers. Um, so the invitation I would create first would be a free offer.
Hmm.
something free that they can start to sign up for so that when I start to write and create, then I do have an invitation that, oh, sign up for this free thing. And then based on the response that I got and what really connected and what I really felt was standing out as the thing that I wanted to create my offer on, I would either start with a low mid offer to put out there to start to generate some sales, or if money was tighter, then I might flip the funnel and start by offering a higher personalized experience first instead of starting at the bottom so I could get that bigger impact first,
Hmm.
depending on how things came in. But that would be what I would do if I was literally starting out without my reputation, without my knowledge, without anything. That's what I would do.
I love that. You remind me of when I did get started. That's pretty much what I did. Like I started building my list way back when they didn't even have that much software for it. But we
Yeah.
started talking about this in communities you and I were in, or in one main community we were in. That was talk about that early about building your list. And then I did one offer that was like lower priced. I think it was like $20. And then from there I went to like a $300, like back in
Mhm.
2010. So yeah, and then that got me rolling along at what I ended up doing. So it's very similar, and I think I would do the same again, like what you just said. I would do what you said. But it's good. Similar to what Cindy, I already interviewed Cindy, and she said she would create content as well. So of course, I have smart
I think
friends.
you kind of have to start by like getting out there a little bit,
And
and
getting a
making some.
feel for what you want to say, right? Like the more you write it, the more
Right.
you'll be practicing knowing what you're trying to say instead of just sitting
Hmm.
there with it all like rolling around in your head. You'll get it out and get it, published and see if it resonates with people and all that, right?
And start to clarify your messaging because messaging is everything now, more
Mm-hmm.
so than ever.
Yeah.
Messaging is so, so key.
Yes, I'm having to shift, because I spent a lot of time on, it's still very important, but like a lot of my efforts have gone into relationship building with my community and my people. But I've got to get clearer on my messaging, and I know that. So I have my next question.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not a one and done because we
no.
evolve and we
Hmm.
change. As we change, our message changes, who we want to work with evolves. I mean, I hope that everyone listening, I hope that you and I are evolving. And
Hmm.
along with our evolution, our businesses should be evolving as well. I
Well,
mean, we
absolutely.
definitely aren't the
Yeah,
same people we were in 2004 when we started.
exactly.
Or
And like, yeah.
earlier for you, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You're making me think of, well, my messaging was a lot around being a mom, home with her
Mhm.
younger kids. Like that messaging isn't relevant for me anymore, but it certainly resonated with so many people, but it doesn't resonate with me anymore. So so
Doesn't
things are shifting.
resonate either.
Yeah. All right. So, what daily habit or mindset shift has made the biggest or a big difference for you?
Well, this was an interesting one because I just had knee surgery. So this is definitely on my mind because for about a month of the last 7 months, I wasn't able to walk at all. And I was in screaming pain, and doctors weren't listening to me. And it just dragged out. 3 surgeons, they kept telling me everything was fine. And so this was on my mind. So Um, to me, my health has to be my number one priority, period. Hard stop. My health is my number one priority. I can't dream big, I can't earn big, and I can't play big if my health is not being taken care of. It just, I know this from the last 7 months. I couldn't even think about planning a trip. I couldn't think about going to the pool. I couldn't think about, I couldn't even go on a walk. I couldn't do like any play at all because I was in so much pain. My business suffered, and the dream big side of things, I couldn't even get excited about anything in the future because the pain was so unbearable. So to
Mm.
me, my health has to be my number one priority all the time. If I want to make any money, because the saying of you can have 1,000 problems until something goes wrong with your health, then you have one problem, right?
Hmm.
You have one and only one problem. And that's
Yeah.
what happened with me was when my knee, I had a torn bucket handle meniscus. So it would get stuck under my kneecap. And when that was happening, I wasn't sending emails, I wasn't planning, I wasn't CEOing, I wasn't doing anything. I mean, luckily I have multiple streams of income, so I had money coming in, but I wasn't doing any of the active work or maintenance or anything in my business. So the
Or the
way
adventures
I,
part, which is
oh,
really important to you. We,
yeah,
anyone who knows you knows that.
yeah, it was crazy because like my grandma's 96 and I love her dearly. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to see her again because I can't sit in a car. I sure as heck can't sit on a plane. I can't walk through an airport. How am I going to see my grandma again?
Hmm.
And so I was able to because I did finally find a surgeon that said he would go in and look. And then he went, holy crap, why didn't this show up on the MRI? I'm like, why did it have to? I told you.
Right, right.
I described exactly what was happening. So
Hmm.
anyway, I digress. My I do tiny habits when it comes to health because I know that consistency is more important than intensity for me. And I know if I don't do my tiny habits every day and I take rest days, then they become rest months. So I do my tiny habits every single day. And even when my knee was out, I still tried my best to do them in some way, shape, or form. So my tiny habits are, and this won't surprise you, they're all intentional. Intentional movement 2 times a day, and that can be as little as 5 minutes twice a day. But it has to be intentional. So walking around the grocery store doesn't count unless I'm specifically going to the grocery store because I haven't done my intentional movement, but that doesn't
Hmm.
count. Um, Intentional fresh air every day. I know for my mental health that I need to get fresh air every day. Intentional connection with somebody I love every day. Intentional veggies because I know if I don't want to get obsessive about what I eat. So rather than focusing on dieting, I just make sure that I am eating vegetables every time I eat something. And half my plate at dinner is veggies, and then intentional mindset. I do something for my mindset every day, whether that's a meditation outside so I can check mindset and fresh air, or if it's, taking some time to do some problem shifting, which is a method that I use to get through being mindset issues, uh, or journaling, but it's usually mind shifting, problem shifting, and being outside,
Hmm.
doing a little bit of meditation. So I do those every day because I have to. I don't by default have good mental or physical health, so I know that I can't just hope that I'll be okay.
Right.
So I
Intentional.
have to be intentional about my health in order to have the life and business and to be able to play.
Yeah.
So
It, I
it's
mean,
probably not what people were expecting. They're probably thinking, what's your daily habit, daily mind shift? But consistency is the only thing that works for me is
hmm.
to be inconsistent. Um, and I can't do stuff that would hurt myself anymore. So it's not like I can go, oh, I'll go on a 13-mile hike on Saturday, and that's my exercise for the week because then I'm going to be out the next 4 days. So that's what I do. That's what I've done for years now because I have to.
Yeah, the health is everything. So that's amazing that, and you've got that emphasized by having that down time that was not in your plans. So, yeah.
It just reminded me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gave me
Well,
gave me a good old-fashioned kick in the butt and reminded me, hey, let's make sure your next 50 years you can, you're okay.
mhm. Yeah, that's what we want. And everybody's living longer. So don't think you're like, I hear people talk in their 60 like they got not much time left. Like you could have so much time left. Like you're only like maybe 60% of your life through yet. So we got
And
lots to go.
we can't control everything about our health, obviously. I mean, there's bad stuff that can happen, but also we can increase our odds
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. I mean, like we need the science is 6,000 steps a day decreases our risk of cancer, diabetes, heart attack, bad depression, anxiety. It's like 6,000 like drastically decreases our risk of those five things.
Hmm.
Okay, I can aim for 6,000. I mean, that's not 10,000. 10,000 is a challenge sometimes, but
Yeah,
6,000
it's
I
quite a
can
bit more.
usually, yeah, I try to make 6,000 my average. So some days
Hmm.
I miss it, some days I go over because I can't get obsessive about things or it's not great for me.
Hmm.
So I just aim for 6,000 as my average over the course of the year.
Hmm.
Ideal over the course of the month, ideally over the course of the a week, but I'm not obsessive about it on a weekly basis. But over a month, yeah, I want to be there. I want to hit that.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck or overwhelmed?
Um, so, I have a course on this. Not really
Hmm.
a course, but just more of a hand holding on this. But I was trying to think about what is the one thing. And I think for me, it's what I said before is getting out of your head and getting back into your heart. Because
Hmm.
I find that I spin in my head, but if I just get to okay, what is it that I really want here? Then all this stuff kind of goes, oh, well, this. And it's like, okay, well, if that's what I want, then what's all this?
Ah,
So
that
what
makes
I
sense to
do,
me.
yeah. So what I do when I'm stuck is I get away from all the screens because I know that when I'm stuck, my tendency is to do this or to get
Hmm.
on my screen and I avoid and I know I avoid. And I do it in the name of research. I do it in the name of I'm taking a break. I do it in the name of all kinds of things. But I know to my toes and in my bones that I'm just avoiding the thing. I'm not helping myself. So when I find myself in overwhelm and I find myself to be stuck, I get away from all screens. Then I either go on a walk if the weather is, permits, or I go take a shower, or I will go meditate. And I basically, when I go on a walk, get in the shower, or meditate, I just ask myself, what do I want to create right now? What do I want to create right now? What do I want to either create in my business or create in the world or create for my audience. And
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, this thing. It's like, okay, well, then get back on the computer and create that thing then. Quit making it hard. It's not hard. Just go create that thing. And that's when I get stuck in my head. But I'll get back to that revelation, transformation, invitation again. What do they need right now? Um, but if and when that doesn't work, because sometimes if and when that doesn't work, then I realize that it's a bigger problem. So then, and I kind of go through this in the unstuck training. It's like, when is it a legit stuck versus when is it a mindset stuck? And if it's a legit stuck, then I know I need to find a tool. I need to find a YouTube video that's going to show me how to do something. I need to phone a friend to figure out. Like I contacted you because I was making a cart switch, and I'm like, okay, I know I can't do this on my own. I know I don't want to do this on my own. So who do I know that I can phone a friend? And so I phoned Angela and I'm like, hey, do you want to co-work with me for a little bit and maybe help me out with this, and I'll help you out with something if you get stuck, or we can do some, we can look at some things together for each other. And, she's like, oh, that sounds fun. So
Mhm.
it's okay to reach out to a friend. It's okay to get support. And if you're still stuck, that's when it's time to reach out for a coach or like a
Mhm.
VIP day. Angela has her get unstuck days, where you can actually have her looking at your screen or getting into your thing and getting you unstuck. If you know you're up here and you need to get here, and this is an obvious roadblock, and you just need somebody to bust it, then that's where sometimes you just gotta hire somebody, get through that roadblock, especially if there's money over here and you're stuck over here and the roadblock's here. And blast
Yeah.
through it, get to that money.
hmm Those are such good suggestions. It was so fun just getting on working with you. Like if someone's
Mhm.
listening and they have a friend, they could just get on and they're talking, working together. Like that was so fun. Hiring a coach, you know, doing something like my VIP. Yeah, like I think those would all help. And then like you
Yeah.
said, just getting away from everything, taking a breath, getting
Mhm.
some fresh air. Yeah,
Yeah. And it is
really good
hard because
advice.
there is legitimate stuff. There's
hmm
legitimate stuff. Like I remember one time where I had to update some Chrome thing. And I was like, okay, this is so beyond my capability. And so, I mean, that was a legit stuck.
Yeah.
But then there's the mindset stuck where you're just spinning because, you're all these fears and beliefs and identity and all of that stuff is running. And that's where, just hopping in and going, okay, heart, what do my people need today? What is the revelation I can provide? What is the transformation that I can give them? And what is the invitation I want to put out there for them today? And if you can get to that,
hmm
then you're always good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that is the path to cash and to
hmm
growth and to getting unstuck.
Thank you. I like
You're
that advice.
welcome.
That's good advice. What's one tool, resource, or system you can't live without in your business?
Okay, so this question I almost asked you to throw out because, not that it's not a good question, but because I, my only answer was there isn't one.
hmm
So, like back in the day when we started, this question was so easy to answer because the tools were so limited.
Right.
It was like, okay, well, I can't live without this tool in my business,
Right.
like WordPress, because there were no options, or I can't
hmm
live without this one cart because there wasn't a better option, or I couldn't live without this list building because there weren't other good options. So it used to be a really easy question for me to answer. And now there's literally so many alternatives for everything and good alternatives. It's not like, oh, I'll settle for this, but like, those are really nice.
Well, and that
So,
can make it harder actually, because
yeah.
I had one shopping cart choice back in the day, right?
Yeah. So, everything has alternatives. So, like, I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, I think my phone would be my cop out answer because I can use my phone to phone a friend. I
hmm
can use my phone to text with a friend and to reach out. And I need that level of support on my daily connection, intentional connection. I need that um, to be able to text and things. But really, in your business, you only need a way to create pages, a way to deliver your product, a way to take payments, and a way to promote. And as far as what tools you use for all that,
Pick anything.
they're all so good. So, um, I got nothing. I'm sorry. Like maybe Zoom, and then I went no because there's there's Google Meets now too, and that's really good and it's easy to get the link out there
It
and
is, yeah. I've been tempted to kind of flip over to that because I was using it when I was doing the travel business. They were using it. It was fine. I mean, I think they don't get recordings there though, or you had to
yes.
pay for that part.
No, I think you do.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I
Maybe
don't
they just didn't know how to do it.
I think it costs about the same as Zoom if you
Yeah.
do the Google Suite or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I
like
don't want to
talking
give
tools, we could
specifics.
be here for
Yeah,
hours,
because that
right?
could change by the time somebody listens to this, it could all change. So I don't want to give specifics on that, um, but truly, I cannot think of a tool, resource, or system that I
Mhm.
can't live without, which is also good because
Right?
that means that, if something isn't working for you, then there
There's
are
something else.
alternatives out there,
Yeah.
which I think is really important to
Yeah.
know that you're not stuck. Or if somebody like, if you're using something and they increase the price, or you're using something and whatever, it's not working for you, or ethically the business is not in alignment with you and you don't want to give them your money anymore, you can switch. You can
Yeah.
absolutely switch. So
Hmm.
that's good stuff.
Yeah. I should have tried to answer these myself and see
Oh,
what people thought. But I think it's good to have this discussion around it anyway and say, there's no one answer for you, and that's a good thing, like you said.
yeah. Well, what would your answer be?
Like I want to say WordPress because I've used it so much for so long. Like,
Mhm.
but I could use Wix or Squarespace, I'm sure, if I needed to, or
Yeah,
not even use a website if I wanted to. Like I could do
right.
stuff with email instead, or so I'm sure I could
Yeah,
live without anything. So I think you're
I
right.
know.
And I'm
The
trying to
the
think of a
way the question is
system.
to live without it is like, well, I'm not going to die if WordPress
Right.
goes away. I'm not going to lose
Nothing
my
will wreck the
business.
business, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose my business if any of the tools go away. Um,
It's
the only
good
thing that
though.
would truly kill my business would be if like the internet disappeared tomorrow, because then it would be
Right.
like, oh, all right, we got to figure something else out. But
Right.
but that's an
Then I'd
alpha
have to
level
scramble.
technology. They call that an alpha level technology for a reason, because if that were to go poof, like everything,
Yeah. Yes.
our whole existence would change.
Everybody'd be scrambling in the same way though at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Like, how would you book in? I mean, airplanes couldn't fly. Everything is so computerized now. And oh my gosh, how would you book a ticket? You'd have to call again. And
right. Would
oh,
the
it's
phones
crazy.
work? Are they tied to the internet? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't
Like
even know.
like we don't have a landline. Like those are the wired lines, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
How would we
Um
do
that,
anything?
that's catastrophe level, so we won't go there. That's like there's a show called Revelation or Revolution or something like that where everything went down. So it's a pretty interesting show to
Yeah.
watch. So yeah, no, great. Those are so many great discussions we had with those questions, and I loved digging into what you're doing now and discussing that a bit more. I definitely want you to share your link, but I have one more question before, like not share your link, but tell people where they can find you and also tell them your URL. But what's next for you in your journey?
My big what's next, now that my knee's fixed and I have the clarity and the energy and I can do things again. My next big plan is I'm going to be launching a money club for women, and that's going to be based on not just the investing, but the keeping it, making it, and growing it side of things. I'm biting off a lot, so I'm still kind of putting it like it's still coming together, but I'm really excited about that. And then I'm talking with, Tracy Roberts about some trips coming up, some co-working, co-living trips, focusing on the co-living. If people want to work, they can, but I'm not going to have 6 hours a day of masterminds. It's going to be, we're there to experience. And if you want to stay back and work, and you have a call, then that's cool. You're a grown-ass woman, you go ahead and do that, you know? So it'll be more of an invitation to go somewhere in Europe and hang out and also have the flexibility to be able to work because I want to spend more time traveling. And as much as I admire women that solo travel, that's not what I want to do. I want to travel with women that I want to spend time with and
Hmm.
adventure with. And so I want to create that. Those are the two things I'm working on creating right now.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yay. I love it. So, yeah, please tell people where they can find you and make sure you tell the URL.
I am at, again, Nicole Dean, and I am at noregretsZone.com. And I'm sure Angela will have some links under this
Mhm.
video for some free and paid things that you can check out of mine. Um, and I would love to have you do that and be part of my world. It's pretty fun here.
It is. Of course, anyone I'm interviewing, I'm highly, highly recommending you go check out what they offer, who they are, because they're my favorite people. So definitely go see Nicole over at No Regret Zone. And thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for being here to discuss lifestyle freedom and money and adventures. I love it all. Sounds good to me. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Angela.
Okay, bye.